Hi everyone, so today we've got the bonsai tree kit from Urban Sprout. Growing made simple, it says on the box. We've got red maple, Scots Pine, Norway Spruce, larch and dawn redwood. So we've got some really nice trees if we can get these to grow. So let's get the box open and see what's inside. So inside we have an instruction booklet, we have some tools, some pruning kit, we have some pots, we have a thank you for purchase, we have larch seeds, Scots Pine, Norway Spruce, dawn redwood and red maple. We have some soil discs, a pencil and 5 identity sticks to be able to mark them up. We have some bags which will be for stratification and propagation, and we have a nice little chocolate, so I'm sure I'll make short work of that later. And then inside it's just got some straw for some extra packaging. So let's dive straight in and see what the instruction booklet says. The first thing I'm actually going to look for is to see, yeah, there we go. To begin, you will need a glass of warm water and a small bowl. Sprinkle 4 to 5 of your chosen seeds into the bowl and cover them with warm water. Soak for 24 hours. This will help break the dormancy in the seeds and increase their rate of germination. After 24 hours, move on to step 2. So I'll get some of my trusty little egg cups and we'll get that underway. So I've got the larch seeds here. We'll drop them into the water, but there's a little description inside the booklet for the larch tree. It says, larch trees make beautiful bonsai. The branches bear revealing intricate structures. In spring, small bright green needle-shaped leaves appear around the buds, giving the appearance of small green flowers. The larch is relatively easy to germinate. Well, we'll put that to the test. So there's the larch seeds. They're all floating at the moment, so I'll just give them a little mix up with the chopstick, see whether we can see how no, all floating, so we'll see how they go after 24 hours. The next ones we got are Scots Pine. I'm looking forward to try and get a Scots Pine. With my name being Scott, I want to have one that say, well, it's Scots Pine. So, you know, an obvious thing, but I like it. So the description in this little booklet says, Scots Pine, Pinus sylvestris, is an evergreen conifer native to Northern Europe and is one of just 3 conifers native to the UK. Mature trees grow to 35 metres and can live up to 700 years. They are fairly easy to germinate and may germinate before the stratification stage, which most pines, as we've been finding out, do. We do get a lot of pines coming out before even stratification occurs. So we'll drop those in, and they are the Scots Pine seeds. We'll just give those a little whisk up. Okay, so they're all floating, which isn't an instant good sign, but we'll see. The next ones are the Norway Spruce. Norway Spruce is very hardy and make excellent bonsai. They can easily be distinguished by their needle-like waxy leaves of a green to silver colour. They are popularly used as Christmas trees. Norway Spruce are relatively easy to germinate and may germinate without cold stratification. So we'll be keeping an eye out on those as they go in. So that's the Norway Spruce. I'd like to hope that the Norway Spruce and the Scots Pine germinate and we can get them straight underway. So I've stirred those up and instantly all but one have gone to the bottom. So that shows good signs for the Norway Spruce seeds. I'll just give these other ones another little mix just to see if I can get them, if any will go to the bottom. No, they're all floating, not a good sign. The next packet I have is the Dawn Redwood, which it says is known as the Dinosaur Tree. The quick growing Dawn Redwood was originally found in Manchuria, China, and is one of the most exciting of the redwood family. Dawn Redwood seeds are fairly easy to germinate and may germinate without a cold stratification process. Well, let's hope that that's the case, because then obviously we'll have some seedlings to work with a lot sooner, and we won't have to fill up the fridge with all the seeds. So that's the Dawn Redwood. Give that a little mix in, make sure the water's all the way around the seed. And it's not just pockets of air on the seed that's forcing it to stay to the top. No, they're all floating and one came out on the stick. Yep, all floating. So at the moment the best ones that we've got are the Norway Spruce. The next one we got is the red maple. The Japanese red maple, native to China and Japan. Its botanical name comes from its leaves, which have 5 or more deep lobes and vaguely resemble a human hand. It is a popular bonsai subject in Japan. So this is the red maple seeds going in, and at the moment they're all floating on the top, but they are all very, very dry. I'll just poke them down and see if we can get any to start going towards the bottom. They may take a little while to absorb a bit of water and go in, but it's not normally a good sign if they're floating, but we'll see over the next 24 hours. So what I'll do is I'll put them on the windowsill with their identification bits over the top, just to keep it dark, and we'll come back in 24 hours and we'll go on to step 2. Welcome back. It's been well over 24 hours now. It's actually heading well towards 48 hours that these from the Urban Sprout Kit have been soaking in water. So we better crack on and get on to the next stages of this kit. So just to quickly get into the stages, so it wanted the seeds to be soaked and after 24 hours move on to step 2. Now it has been closer to 48 hours. I don't think that's going to cause us a major problem. They want us to submerge 1 soil pellet into water and leave for 3 minutes. The water will cause the pellet to expand, and when fully expanded, squeeze out the excess of the water and fill 1 growing pot with the soil. So with these, they come in a bit of like a webbing material that keep the soil together. So we'll just drop that into that pot. Doesn't matter about how much water we give it. We'll give it plenty of water. We'll let it soak up, and then we'll be able to wring it out in about 3 minutes time. So once we've done that, it tells us to remove the seeds from the water and sow approximately 1/2 centimetre apart. The size of each seed acts as its own instant guide to sowing depth. So as a general rule, cover the seeds with roughly their own depth of compost. So as the smaller they are, the less underneath the soil they need to be. So such as the pines and the spruces, they will go just underneath the soil, but the larch ones will literally only have a very small covering. Now, as I'm looking at these, the success rate I'm expecting isn't going to be great, because the seeds are pretty much staying at the top. After 48 hours, I would have expected them to be well and truly sunk down, but they just seem to have stayed at the top. I've just given them a mix up. All the Scots Pines have now gone to the bottom. There's a few of the larch that are refusing and staying at the top. The Norway Spruce have managed to go down. The Dawn Redwood at the moment are all at the top, so we'll give them a little poke around, mix up the water so it's not trapping any air bubbles in the seeds, you know, that's keeping it floating. And yeah, only 2 of the Dawn Redwood seeds are actually going down, so I'm not expecting too much from these, but let's hope. And then the red maple, at the moment they're all at the top, so we'll give them a bit of a mix, try and get water around the whole of the seed. A couple of them have sunk to the bottom, but on the whole, the red maple seeds are staying to the top. So again, we're not looking at too much success from them. That's been in for about a minute now, and it's swelling up nicely. Once we've squeezed it out and added the seeds into the soil, it tells us to put the soil, into the compost pots, which we can do. So obviously squeeze the soil out, put it into the compost pots, and then get the seeds roughed into the top of the soil, and then we'll be putting them into the plastic bags for the humidity within the bags. And then we're going to place them into it says a cool, light place, avoid direct sunlight for 14 to 21 days. So it's not asking us to stratify them at the moment. We'll be putting them maybe into the tents, labelled up, knowing what we've got. So I'll get these, the soils into the pots, and then we'll come back and put the seeds in. So we've managed to get all the soil discs all swollen up and into position. So we've got them all lined up. The larch, the Scots Pine, the Norway Spruce, the Dawn Redwood and the red maple. So what we need to do now is get the seeds into the soil. So if we just lose some of the water without losing the seeds, we can then get the seeds into the soil. And I will just agitate that around to get them underneath. So that's the maples underneath. I'll just drain off some water of the Dawn Redwoods, and we'll get going for the seeds that were at the bottom first. If you just excuse me, Bev needs to go out for a quick wee. A lady wee, Bev. So we'll just drop the Dawn Redwoods into the soil and just mix them up. They only really need to go just underneath the soil. So that's that one. And if we just get the spruces, most of these are now down at the bottom. And we'll put the seeds in. Trying to make that bit of room that they asked for in the instructions, so just knocking them around ever so slightly just so that they're not on top of each other, and giving them their own space to grow in. And we'll move on to the Scots Pine now, the one that I'm desperate to grow, and I really hope it does. All the seeds have gone to the bottom after agitating the water, so we'll just put them in into the soil. Just agitate them so they're slightly underneath. Move them around a bit so they're not on top of each other. And that's the Scots Pine. And last but not least, the larch. So we'll just drain off the water and pop the larch seeds into the soil. And we'll just get them underneath as the rest. It doesn't take too much, just scraping the top of the soil and allowing the seeds to drop into the scrapes that you've made, and then just patting it in just to make sure that they're covered over. So that's all those in. So we'll put them into the plastic bags. What I do find when they're in these bags, we do get some like dewy mould growing, and some of the kits recommend taking it out and bleaching it. I've not had to do any of that as yet, but you can take them out and wipe them and then put them back in. Last one going in. That's great. So that's all those done. So we do have the 5 lollipop sticks, identity sticks, and we do have a pencil. Now I'm going to use the Sharpie, just purely to make sure that I can see all what they are, and we'll just write on what they are, the kit and the date as usual. So larch, Urban Sprout, and today's date is Halloween, 31/10/19. Happy Halloween, everyone. And we'll just pop them sticks into the bags. We'll not put them into the soil, we'll just get them into the bags. So Scots Pine, Urban Sprout, 31/10/19. that in. The next one is the Norway Spruce. Norway Spruce, Urban Sprout. Went a bit heavy there with the writing, so we'll just turn it over. 31, 10, 19. So we can see what it is and when we put it in. The next one is the Dawn Redwood. Urban Sprout, and I'll just pop the date on 31, 10, 19, and the last one, Red Maple, Urban Sprout, 31, 10, 19. So that's in. We need to perforate the bags to try and help discourage the fungus growth that we just talked about, and it does seem to work. So what I'll do is just seal the bag and then poke a couple of holes with the trimming tool. Seems to work nicely to put a nice perforation in. Puts it through both sides of the bag and allows for some circulation. I do go in every now and again and open them up, let a bit of air in, check the soil, make sure it hasn't dried up, and if needed, give it a spray or a mist at the top of the soil just to keep it damp. Ever so sharp. So these are going to go into the tent for 14 to 21 days. If anything's growing, we'll pop them on. If not, they're asking that they go in to the crisper drawer in the fridge, and they'll sit in there for 4 to 6 weeks. So we'll set up some alerts, some timers on the phone or whatever, just to give the timer so that we don't miss it. And I will be reviewing all the others as well and making sure that we do all the right things at the right times. So let's go and put them in the grow tent. So here we are. We'll put the Urban Sprout pots all together in here, and we'll keep an eye on them for the next 14 to 21 days. If we get any growth, great. If not, they'll be going in the fridge. Now after all that, I think I've earned the chocolate. I've been Scott Winard, this is Let's Do Bonsai, we'll see you soon.